Far away in the dark, cold reaches of space, the planet Varka 9 was known as a death world. Its surface was rough, covered with jagged rocks and strange poisonous plants. The air was thin and hard to breathe. The storms were fierce, and the creatures that lived there were even fiercer. Only the toughest species could survive there, and the Varkans were one of them. The Varkans were a proud people, raised in this harsh world. They had strong muscles, sharp minds, and quick reflexes. They were hunters and fighters ready to face danger without fear. Other species called them Deathworlders because they came from a place where few could live. On Varka 9, a small group of Varkan scouts was gathering around a large, glowing screen inside their stone and metal command center. The screen flickered, with strange signals from deep space. Their leader, Tarka, was a tall, broad-shouldered Varkan with dark eyes that seemed to shine like stars. "What is that signal?" asked Jara, one of the scouts. She pointed to a strange pattern of sounds and light. Tarka leaned forward, his face serious. "It is not normal. It is an SOS." An SOS? That was rare. Usually the Varkans did not pay attention to other species' troubles. Their world was dangerous enough, and other species often brought trouble. But an SOS was a call for help, someone in serious danger. The screen showed the source of the signal, a small dying spaceship. It was old and broken, drifting near a star that was about to explode. The signal was weak but clear. "Help us, please. We are under attack." Tarka's mind raced. They lived far from the center of the galaxy, and space was full of danger. Why would someone send an SOS here? And what did this have to do with the humans? Jara looked worried. "I heard stories. The humans' ships are dangerous. Their warship is coming this way. We should stay hidden." The name humans made the room tense. Humans were known in the galaxy for their strength and strange ways. Many species feared them, calling them wild and dangerous. The humans came from a blue planet filled with water and green trees, so different from Varka 9. Yet humans had survived and thrived in many worlds, often by sheer force of will. Tarka shook his head. "We cannot ignore a call for help. Even if the humans' warship is nearby, this SOS might be more important." The Varkans argued for a long time. Some wanted to run, to hide in the shadows of space. Others wanted to investigate. In the end, survival and honor won. They would send a small ship to help or at least find out the truth. A team was quickly chosen. Tarka, Jara, and 2 others prepared to leave. Their ship was fast, built for dangerous worlds. It was small but strong, covered with armor and weapons. They lifted off. Varka 9 disappeared below them, a cold, deadly world left behind. The stars stretched out before them, endless and mysterious. The journey was long and tense. Everyone was silent, thinking about what they might find. Would the SOS be a trap, or a real call for help? When they reached the source of the signal, they found a strange sight. The small alien ship was badly damaged, floating near the edge of a dying star system. The star was about to go supernova, a powerful explosion that would destroy everything nearby. The alien ship's hull was cracked and smoking. The Varkans scanned the ship carefully. Inside they found strange creatures, small, thin, with big eyes that shone in the dark. They looked scared and weak. One of the creatures spoke in broken words, using a universal translator. "Thank you for coming. We are the Zalari. Our world was attacked. We have nowhere else to go." Tarka looked closely at the Zalari. They were not strong or fierce like the Varkans. They seemed peaceful but desperate. The Zalari explained that a human warship was chasing their attackers, other humans but different and violent. The Zalari feared their attackers more than anyone. This confused the Varkans. Humans were dangerous, yes, but fighting among themselves? That was strange. The Zalari asked for help, not just to save them, but to stop the violent humans who could destroy entire worlds. Tarka felt a deep weight on his shoulders. Helping these weak creatures might bring war, but ignoring them could mean death for many. Back on their ship, the Varkans debated again. They could return to Varka 9 and forget, the trouble, or they could stay and prepare for the arrival of the humans' dangerous warship. Jara spoke quietly but firmly. We are Deathworlders. We do not run from danger. If the humans are coming, we will face them, and we will protect those who cannot protect themselves. Tarka nodded. Then we prepare. We send messages to our allies and ready our weapons. The humans' dangerous ship is coming. We must be ready. The stars outside the window were bright and cold. The unknown waited. But the Deathworlders were not afraid. The cold stars watched silently as the Varkan ship waited near the damaged alien vessel. The Zalari's words echoed in Tarka's mind. The humans who had attacked the Zalari were different, more violent and unpredictable. But now, a large human warship was coming toward them, and that meant trouble. Suddenly, sensors on the Varkan ship picked up a huge object moving through space. It was massive, much larger than any ship the Varkans had ever seen. The ship was shaped like a great steel beast with sharp edges and glowing lights that pulsed like a heartbeat. Jara's voice was calm but tense. The humans' dangerous ship is here. The huge warship slowly entered the star system, its engines leaving trails of bright blue light. The Varkans watched closely, unsure what to expect. This ship had a reputation. Stories spoke of its power and the fear it brought to entire planets. But when the warship sent a message, it was not what the Varkans expected. This is Captain Ryan of the human ship Valor. We come in peace. We received the Zalari SOS. We seek allies against a common enemy. Tarka narrowed his eyes. Peace? After all the stories of humans as dangerous fighters? He wanted to be sure. He responded, We are the Varkans of Varka 9. We have received your message. Explain yourself. The communication channel opened and a human face appeared on the screen. Captain Ryan was strong and steady-looking with sharp eyes and a calm voice. His uniform was simple but showed many stripes and medals. He was not the wild warrior the stories said. He was something else. We are not here to fight you, Ryan said. Our enemies are not the Varkans or the Zalari. There is a group among humans who have turned violent and dangerous. We seek to stop them, and we ask for your help. Jara looked doubtful. Why should we trust humans? Your species is known for fighting, even among yourselves. Ryan's face grew serious. That is true, but we have learned that strength alone is not enough. We need allies who understand survival, who fight not for glory, but for life. The Varkans are known as Deathworlders. Your skills and courage can help stop a greater threat. Tarka took a deep breath. He remembered the harsh lessons of Varka 9. Trust was earned, not given. But this offer was a chance to protect their own world and to learn more about the humans. We will meet, Tarka said at last. But we come armed and ready. Any deception and you will regret it. The Valor lowered its shields and sent a smaller shuttle toward the Varkan ship. The shuttle landed gently in the docking bay, and the humans stepped out. They were taller than the Varkans with fair skin and short hair, but their eyes showed the same fire that the Varkans had seen in their own warriors. Captain Rion introduced his crew. There was Lyra, a sharp-eyed navigator, Cal, a quiet but strong engineer, and Amon, a skilled fighter. They wore simple armor but carried advanced weapons that hummed softly. Tarka led the Varkans, Jara, the scout, Dren, a heavy weapons expert, and Rala, a survival expert. They exchanged cautious nods but kept their hands near their weapons. The meeting room was small but functional. The walls were covered with maps of star systems and data streams showing the positions of enemy ships. Captain, Ryan began, the group attacking the Zalari and others is called the Reavers. They are humans who have left the laws of the galaxy behind. They attack without mercy and seek control through fear. We have fought them before, but they grow stronger. Jara frowned. Why attack your own people? What makes you different? Ryan looked away for a moment, then answered, We believe in a future where humans and others live together in peace. The Reavers want only power. They have no respect for life. Dren stepped forward. And what do you want from us? Your strength and knowledge, Ryan said. You know how to survive in worlds where others die. Your toughness can help Us face the Reavers on their terms. Rala asked, "What happens if we refuse?" Ryan's eyes were hard. "The Reavers will continue to grow. They will destroy your worlds, just as they have destroyed others. We cannot stop them alone." The room was silent. The Varkans had faced death many times, but now the threat was larger, an enemy that did not care who lived or died. Tarka finally spoke. "We will help you. But know this. The Varkans do not follow orders blindly. We fight for our homes and our honor. Any alliance must respect that." Captain Ryan nodded. "Agreed. We are partners, not masters." With that, the uneasy alliance was born. Over the next hours, both crews exchanged stories and shared knowledge. The humans showed how their ship worked, with powerful engines and weapons unlike anything the Varkans had seen. The Varkans shared survival tips, how to use the environment as a weapon, and how to endure when everything seems lost. Despite their differences, respect grew between them. Jara found herself admiring Captain Rian's calm strength. Rian saw the Varkans' fierce loyalty and courage as the heart of true warriors. But outside the meeting room, the galaxy was growing darker. The Reavers were moving fast, attacking planets and systems to spread terror. Tarka looked out the window at the stars. The dangerous human warship was here, but so was hope. For the first time, Deathworlders and humans might stand together. "Prepare the ships," Tarka ordered. "The fight is coming. We will meet it head-on." The Varkan ship hummed with power as they readied themselves. The humans worked alongside them, repairing weapons and planning strategies. The story of the humans' dangerous ship was changing. No longer a symbol of fear alone, it was becoming a beacon of resistance. And somewhere in the cold vastness of space, the Reavers prepared their next attack. The battle for survival was about to begin. The Valor and the Varkan ship hovered near the edge of a star system, far from any safe port. The uneasy alliance between humans and Deathworlders had been formed, but trust was still fragile. Both sides knew the coming battle against the Reavers would test them in ways they had never imagined. Inside the Varkan command room, Tarka studied a holographic map of the nearby systems. Bright dots marked stars and planets, while red markers showed known Reaver activity. The Reavers were moving fast, raiding colonies, destroying ships, and taking prisoners. Jara paced near the map, her sharp eyes scanning every detail. "We can't just fight them head-on," she said. "They are ruthless and well-armed. We need to be smarter." Captain Ryan nodded. "Agreed. The Reavers rely on fear and surprise. We must be ready for anything." Dren, the Varkan heavy weapons expert, grunted. "I say we strike first. Hit them hard before they can organize." Lyra, the human navigator, shook her head. "That will only make them stronger. We need to cut their supplies and isolate their leaders." Tarka raised a hand to silence the arguments. "We need a plan that uses all our strengths. Humans have technology and strategy. We have survival skills and knowledge of deadly environments. Together, we can outsmart them." The room grew quiet as everyone considered the truth in his words. Rala, the Varkan survival expert, stepped forward. "I suggest we use guerrilla tactics. The Reavers expect a direct fight, but we can strike from shadows. We know how to use terrain, traps, and ambushes." Cal, the human engineer, added, "And I can modify our ships and weapons to be quieter and more agile. We can hit hard and disappear before they react." The team worked through the night, combining ideas into a bold plan. They would attack Reaver supply lines and communications, cutting their forces apart. Then, they would hunt the Reaver leaders, with small, fast teams. The alliance was fragile, but hope began to grow. The first mission was dangerous. A small Reaver supply ship had been spotted near a rocky asteroid field. The Valor and the Varkan ship moved in silence through the dark space, their crews ready for battle. Jara led the Varkan strike team. She remembered every lesson from Varkan 9, how to move unseen, how to listen for danger, and how to fight with speed and precision. The human team followed, their weapons humming softly in the quiet. The air was tense, every moment stretching with possibility. As they approached the supply ship, sensors showed guards on patrol, The Varkans and humans moved like shadows, avoiding detection. Using small boarding pods, they closed in quickly. Suddenly, alarms blared on the Reaver ship. The fight was fierce but brief. The Varkans used their strength and skill, the humans their advanced weapons and tactics. Together, they overwhelmed the guards and disabled the ship's engines. The prize was valuable: supplies and information about Reaver movements, the Alliance's first success. Back on their ships, the team celebrated quietly, but they knew this was only the beginning. Days passed. The Alliance grew stronger as humans and Deathworlders learned from each other. Captain Ryan shared stories of human history, the struggle to survive wars, to build peace, and to rise from danger stronger than before. Tarka spoke of Varka 9's harsh storms, deadly predators, and the strength it took to live there. He told of honor, loyalty, and fighting for home. Slowly, fear and suspicion began to fade. Friendships grew. Jara and Lyra often trained together, sharing techniques and stories. Dren and Cal worked on improving weapons and ships. Even Rala found herself learning human customs and joking quietly with Aemon. But the Reavers were not idle. Their leaders were ruthless and cunning. One night, the Alliance detected a sudden increase in Reaver activity. Scout ships reported a large fleet gathering near a nearby planet, an important supply hub. Tarka and Ryan knew this could be the Reavers' attempt to break the Alliance. "We must act fast," Tarka said. "If they control that planet, they will have a base for attacks everywhere." Ryan agreed. "We can't wait for them to strike first. We will hit their fleet before they are ready." The plan was risky. The Reaver fleet was large and well-armed. But the Alliance had something the Reavers did not: unity and strategy. The night before the attack, Tarka stood outside the command center. Stars twinkled cold and distant. Jara approached quietly. "You think we can win?" Tarka looked at her, eyes steady. "Not alone. But together, yes." The dawn would bring the fight that could change everything. The uneasy Alliance was becoming something stronger, a force for survival, for hope, and the galaxy held its breath. The stars outside the Valor's viewport were cold and distant, shining quietly as the human and Varkan fleets prepared for battle. The Reaver fleet was gathering near the planet Zira, a small, rocky world rich in minerals and a crucial supply base. If the Reavers took Zira, their power in this part of the galaxy would grow almost unstoppable. Captain Ryan stood on the bridge, his eyes steady as he studied the data streams. Tarka was beside him, silent but ready. The tension in the room was thick, but both leaders knew this fight was necessary. "We attack at first light," Ryan said. "We strike hard and fast." Tarka nodded. "The Reavers will expect a fight, but not what we plan." The plan was daring. The humans and Varkans would split into small teams. Each team had a mission. Some would attack the fleet's support, ships. Others would sabotage weapon systems on the ground, while others would hunt the Reaver leaders. Jara led one of the teams, her heart steady but ready. "We move like shadows," she told her squad. "Silent, fast, deadly." The ships slipped through space, silent hunters waiting for the signal. The battle began with a sudden explosion near the Reaver command ship. The humans and Varkans had struck first, catching the enemy off guard. The Reavers scrambled to respond, but the attack was swift and coordinated. Jara's team landed on the surface of Zira. The planet was harsh and rocky, perfect for the Varkans, but dangerous for the humans. Yet the Alliance worked together, each learning from the other. Jara led her squad through narrow canyons and dark caves. They avoided patrols and set traps for Reaver reinforcements. Every step was careful, every breath quiet. Suddenly, a Reaver patrol appeared. The fight was quick and brutal. Jara's team fought with strength and skill, taking down their enemies before disappearing into the shadows. Meanwhile, in space, Captain Ryan and Tarka coordinated the larger battle. The Valor engaged Reaver warships, weaving through laser fire and missile volleys. The Varkan ship fired heavy plasma blasts, breaking enemy shields. Despite the fierce resistance, the Alliance was pushing the Reavers back. Their teamwork was better than expected. The Reavers had power, but the Alliance had something stronger: unity. As the battle raged, the Alliance uncovered a dark secret. During a raid on a Reaver communications base, Cal and Dren hacked into their systems. What they found shocked them. The Reavers were not just mercenaries. They were part of a secret group backed by unknown forces, shadowy corporations and rogue governments profiting from chaos and war. Lyra's voice was grim over the comms. This goes deeper than we thought. The Reavers are a tool, not just soldiers. Captain Ryan frowned. This means the war is bigger than the battlefield. We are fighting a system, not just a group. Tarka's eyes darkened. We must be careful. This enemy will not stop. The Alliance realized the stakes were higher than survival. They were fighting to stop a war machine built on greed and fear. Back on Zira, Jara's team pushed deeper into enemy territory. They found prisoners, Solari and others captured by the Reavers. The prisoners were weak but alive, grateful for rescue. Jara's heart warmed. We fight not just for ourselves, but for all who suffer. The team freed the prisoners and helped them escape to safety. But the Reavers were closing in. A fierce chase began across the rocky terrain. Jara and her squad used every skill learned on Varka 9. They climbed cliffs, hid in caves, and fought off pursuers. At one point, Jara faced a Reaver leader alone. The fight was intense, a test of strength and will. In the end, Jara's survival skills and quick thinking won. The Alliance's success gave them hope, but the war was far from over. As night fell on Zira, the battle slowed. Both sides regrouped, counting losses and planning next moves. Captain, Ryan called a meeting with Tarka and the team leaders. We have won a strong victory today, Ryan said. But the Reavers will strike back harder. Tarka agreed. We must prepare for their next move. We fight for more than survival. We fight for the future. Jara looked around the room, seeing faces tired but determined. We are not just fighting to live. We are fighting to build something better. The Alliance understood the truth. This war would be long and difficult, but together they had a chance. As the stars shone cold above Zira, the human and Varkan crews made plans. The shadows of war were deep, but the light of hope burned bright. The story of the dangerous human ship was no longer just about fear. It was about courage, unity, and the fight to protect all life in the galaxy. And in the darkness ahead, the Reavers prepared for their next attack, more deadly, more desperate, and more dangerous than ever. The rocky planet Zira was quiet now, but the tension in the air was thick. The human and Varkan alliance had won a hard-fought battle, but the war was far from over. The Reavers were furious, and their next move would be brutal. Captain Ryan stood on the Valor's bridge, staring at the data screens. Red markers showed the positions of Reaver fleets gathering near several star systems. The Reavers were regrouping and preparing a massive counterattack. Tarka stood beside him, silent and strong. His dark eyes watched the stars. They will try to crush us before we can grow stronger. Ryan nodded. Then we strike first. We can't wait. The plan was risky. The Alliance would launch a surprise attack on the Reavers' main base, hidden deep in a hostile system known as Karath. The base was heavily defended with powerful weapons and shields, but if they succeeded, it could break the Reavers' power and end the war. Jara trained her team for the mission. They practiced moving quickly and quietly through dangerous terrain. Lyra worked on navigation, finding secret routes to avoid enemy patrols. Cal and Dren upgraded their weapons and armor, making sure the teams were ready for anything. On the day of the attack, the Alliance ships moved in silence through the cold darkness of space. Every crew member knew the stakes. This could be the final battle. As they approached Karath, sensors detected heavy defenses. Reaver ships patrolled the orbit, and the planet's surface was covered with automated turrets and mines. Captain Ryan and Tarka held a last briefing. We split into 3 teams, Ryan said. One attacks the surface base, one fights in space to hold the enemy fleet, and one hunts the Reaver leaders. Tarka added, "Remember, we fight for our homes and for all who cannot defend themselves." Teams launched their attack. The space battle was fierce. The Valor and Varkan ships dodged laser fire and missiles. Human pilots used advanced tactics to confuse the enemy, while Varkan gunners fired heavy plasma blasts. In the skies above Karath, the fight raged with thunderous explosions lighting the darkness. The Reavers fought hard, but the Alliance's unity and strategy gave them an edge. On the planet's surface, Jara's team moved through rocky canyons and dark tunnels toward the base. They avoided patrols and traps, using every skill to stay hidden. When they reached the base's entrance, alarms blared. The Reavers had detected them. A fierce battle broke out. Jara and her squad fought with courage and skill, disabling turrets and opening the way for the main forces. The humans and Varkans worked together, covering each other and pushing forward. Meanwhile, the leader hunting team tracked down the Reaver commanders. They moved quietly through enemy lines, using stealth and surprise. In a dark control room, the Reaver leaders prepared their defenses, unaware that their enemies were close. Suddenly, the hunters attacked. The fight was brutal, but quick. The Reaver leaders were captured or killed. The Alliance had struck a powerful blow, but the cost was high. Many lives were lost. The Valor's engines were damaged, and the Varkan ship needed repairs. The crews mourned their fallen friends, but knew the fight was not over. Captain Ryan gathered the leaders. "We have weakened the Reavers," he said, "but they will come back stronger. We must be ready." Tarka looked around the room, his face grim but determined. This battle was the tipping point. Now we fight not just to survive, but to win. The Alliance began rebuilding and preparing for the future. The humans and Varkans shared stories of bravery and loss. They trained harder and learned more about each other. Jara and Lyra became close friends, their bond a symbol of hope between two very different peoples. Captain Ryan and Tarka worked on plans to protect more star systems, to stop the Reavers, before they could hurt anyone else. The galaxy was still full of danger, but the Alliance had changed the story. As the stars shone cold and bright, the humans' dangerous ship was no longer just a weapon of fear. It was a symbol of unity and strength. And together, the humans and Deathworlders were ready to face whatever came next. The battle on Karath was over, but the war still stretched across the stars like a dark shadow. The alliance of humans and Varkans had struck a powerful blow against the Reavers, but they knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast and dangerous, and enemies still lurked in the dark. Captain Ryan stood on the deck of the Valor, gazing out into the endless blackness of space. Beside him stood Tarka, the Varkan leader, silent as always but full of quiet strength. "We have come far," Rion said quietly. "But the fight to protect the galaxy is just starting." Tarka nodded. "The Reavers are broken but not defeated. They will return, but so will we." Back on Zyra, the Alliance's ships gathered in the orbit of the planet. Repair crews worked tirelessly to fix weapons, engines, and shields. Soldiers trained and planned for the next steps. The once uneasy Alliance was now a strong force. Humans and Varkans had learned to work together, to trust one another, and to fight side by side. Jara and Lyra led training exercises, sharing skills and stories. Their friendship had become a symbol of hope, a promise that even the most different beings could unite for a common cause. The freed Zalari and other rescued species were being cared for, their strength slowly returning. The Alliance's victory had saved many lives. Captain Ryan held a meeting with the leaders of the coalition. Representatives from several planets and species gathered, each ready to stand against the Reavers and the shadowy powers behind them. Ryan's voice was firm. "This is not just a battle for survival. It is a fight for the future. We must build a coalition that can protect all life, no matter how dangerous or distant their home." Tarka added, "We are Deathworlders. We have lived through storms, hunger, and war. We know what it means to fight for life. We will bring that strength to this coalition." The leaders agreed. Plans were made for patrols, defenses, and communication networks. The Alliance would become a shield across the galaxy's most dangerous places. But peace was fragile. One night, as the ships rested in orbit, alarms suddenly blared. Sensors detected a fast-moving fleet approaching Zyra. It was the Reavers, returning for revenge. The humans and Varkans rushed to their battle stations. The tension was high, but the Alliance was ready. Captain Ryan and Tarka stood side by side on the Valor's bridge. "This will be their last chance," Ryan said. "We must end this now." The Reaver fleet attacked with fury. Explosions lit the darkness of space as ships clashed. The Alliance fought back with all their strength. The Varkan ships fired plasma blasts while human pilots weaved through enemy fire. The battle was fierce, but the Alliance's unity gave them an edge. On the surface of Zyra, Jara and her team fought Reaver ground forces. The battle was hard, but the training and trust between humans and Varkans made them unstoppable. In the thick of the fight, Jara saw a Reaver leader trying to escape. She chased him through rocky canyons using every skill she had learned. With a final burst of strength, Jara caught him and stopped his escape. The Reaver's command was broken. The battle ended with a clear victory for the Alliance. The Reavers were defeated, their power shattered. But the victory was more than just a battle won. It was proof that different species, different worlds could come together to protect the future. Captain Ryan addressed the crews. "Today, we showed the galaxy what unity means. We fought as one, and we won as one." Tarka added, "The dangerous human ship is no longer a symbol of fear. It is a symbol of hope and strength." As the stars shone bright in the endless void, the Coalition prepared to explore new frontiers. They would face new dangers, but now they faced them together. The humans, the Deathworlders, the Zalari, and many others stood united, guardians of the galaxy's wildest and most dangerous places. A new dawn was rising in the void, and this time no one would face the darkness alone.